Dandabat, and I came in at the end of the report from Priyananadidi, progress report of Krishna's wave of drama in the Ukraine. Hare Krishna. There is a wave, Krishna's wave of drama everywhere.
Nirupama is connecting, Maharaj.
Even in Goloka Vrindavan, there's a wave of drama. All right. Okay, dear devotees, very first thing before we continue, because we've got lots of devotees here with us, let us give our obeisances to each other as we've come together. And then let us hear from Govinda land, because we can see we're in Govinda land right now with Nirupama at 5 a.m. in Kiev time. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kalpa we just said. Then Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvaje Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai. So just a brief update first, because we'd like to hear from Nirupama Devidasi. If you can, the devotees are all a little bit in anxiety, so in your best English, we've got Priyanana who can help translate also, and actually Radha Sundari, but Priyanana can translate very nicely. Just everyone's concerned for the situation, and we just want to hear from the devotional side, if you can share a little news with us from Govinda land.
Наши поклоны всем. Киев бомбят, все в укрытиях. Харьков бомбят, все в укрытиях. Запорожье в укрытиях. Говиндаленд круглосуточно принимает преданных. Наши бхакты на военной машине, можно сказать, военные водители вывозят из Киева преданных, насколько это возможно. Но это очень тяжело. Сейчас застряли где-то на трассах. Но Говиндаленд есть свет, есть вода, есть топливо, есть бхога. Всего хватает, готовы ко всему. Молимся. Харе Кришна.
Okay, so Nirupama Didi just said that Kiev is being bombed and Zaporozhye too, but the devotees they use some military car or truck to get the devotees out of the city, which is quite difficult because I guess there are traffic jams and they stuck somewhere on the way. But Govinda land has electricity, all the amenities and enough bhoga, and it accepts devotees 24 hours and they're ready for everything. So Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. All right. So this event, I mean, what's taking place in Ukraine, it is a reminder for everybody, because it's in the public eye, we are told, because I don't read the newspapers or see the headlines even, but we hear from everybody of the news. So it's in the public eye. And when something happens that's close to us, it does kind of make the reality of the world more real. Like we realize, the world is a terrible place. The world is a place of birth and death. There is risk all the time. And actually, of course, on a bigger scale, but quite similar to when a close relative dies. If a close relative is injured, has a car accident, in the hospital, dies, I mean, things like this, where danger is right, we see it in our family, with our friends and family, then we, for a few minutes, hours, days, for some time, that shock sort of wakes us up to the reality of this world. Really, I see that with my uncle, my aunt, myself, not myself, but like this. And then with the question does come, well, I am also in this situation, one way or another. This is where I'm also living, and I'm also temporary in this world. And without any other dangers, if you like war or so many things, war, famine, we just had the COVID, the fever thing still going around the world. Whether it's a plague, epidemic, famine, earthquake, all sorts of natural disasters that take place, we are in a very vulnerable position. Just as I'm reminded on some of our walks here, just a tile falling off the roof of a house while you're walking down the street, there's danger at every step. And so we must really understand that Krishna consciousness is the solution, because it's removing the source of all of these problems. So we are being reminded that this world is not our home, this world is temporary, and it's a terrible world, all sorts of inhumane things happening. But again, we must take the positive side. And I have here, because this is the fundamental basis of our Krishna consciousness, is changing our consciousness to every situation. So we can turn to the good advices of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, of Srila Prabhupada, of the scripture, of the Shastra. And there we get so much good advice about how to adjust our mood for any circumstance. And any circumstance doesn't mean just, or whether you're sitting on a hard bench or you've got a nice soft asan to sit on while chanting your japa. It's about every circumstance in the world, from, yes, sitting on there's only a hard bench. Okay, well, maybe I have to make some adjustment there. That's practicing on a micro scale. But on a much larger scale, we have the world to deal with, the world of where we are. So there are so many beautiful excerpts that we can read and see. And as usual, I was reading an excerpt and I got way ahead of myself, because it's very difficult to stop reading once we're reading. And here, I'm just going to read a short bit from a short excerpt from Srila Guru Maharaj. And he's quoting from the Srimad Bhagavatam. He's giving us a verse saying, Rite ritang yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. And then Guru Maharaj is saying, Srimad Bhagavatam asks, what is the conception of Maya? Okay, now you may say, we want to know the conception of Krishna. Yes, but let's understand where we live to have some harmonious view of the environment. So, Srimad Bhagavatam asks, among other things, what is the conception of Maya? Rite ritang yat pratiyeta. What seems to us to be the right reading of the environment is actually not so. Ateshu abhigyaha. The meaning and purpose of every incident is known to Krishna. Many events are harmonized together and are for the purpose of serving him. But when there is localized interest, there is a clash. Imperial and universal interests clash with the provincial and local interests. Ateshu abhigyaha. He alone can know why each straw is moving to one side or that. He's the only knower of everything. Hare Krishna. Arteshu abhigya ata. I skipped just a little bit to come to this section about reading the circumstance. Arta means universal. And what is the real purpose of every movement? It is for the one universal interest. Sorry, the one universal absolute. That absolute current goes towards the satisfaction of Krishna. But that reading is not possible by the superficial jivas. That's us. The jivas cannot read or conceive the real meaning of everything. The jiva will have a different reading of the circumstances, but that will be superficial. And that is Maya. We may interpret in our own way the reason for an earthquake or a storm or anything, but that reading is from our local interest. The real meaning is hidden. This is Maya. And on the basis of that, we are performing so many activities. Our interpretations from the plane of local interest, all our interpretations are from the plane of local interest. So give it up. Then from Bhagavad Gita, Savadhaman Paritya Ja Mam Ekang Sharanang Raja. Give up your local interest and identify yourself with the current of that plane of universal interest. Hare Krishna. So we should surrender to Krishna in every circumstance. Yes, Priyananda Devidasi.
But right now, okay, we understand that our perception is Mike, but how do we, how do you deal on a daily basis? It's like you don't have your own perception and the high perception is not available to you. So you're kind of mindless and helpless because you don't have any perception at all.
But we are learning the Krishna conception. We are learning to uncover that is what is within us, that we have a devotee to Krishna personality hiding within us. And our Maya side is the identification that everything, what I see, that I have experience of this world, and I'm thinking it in relation, is it, about me, my enjoyment, myself at the center. But the devotee inside, the devoted person, the living entity who's not exploiting, not trying to die and push out everything, basically stopping everything. But the third option, the devotee is there in us. So we need to try to see, even in circumstances, we are robbed, we're attacked, we have a car accident, we have war, we have the COVID, we have all these things going on around. So we need to read the environment as being favorable for our situation, for remembering Krishna consciousness. We use the example of the world is a university. Sometimes we say it's a prison house where, we're in the jail, but we're being corrected from within the jail of how to get the proper conception so that we can be allowed into the society at large. The thief is not allowed in the society at large because his mentality is that he's harming the environment. But somebody who contributes to the society, then why are they going to be in the jail? The jail is for giving correction. But anyway, sometimes we say jail, we'll be more generous and say university, because university is positive and progressive and has a sweeter feel to it in general. If we ignore Srila Prabhupada's comment of the university is the slaughterhouse of the soul, Hare Krishna. But in the positive side, the university is teaching us something. This whole world, and indeed the universe, just read Srimad Bhagavatam. We are not the only planet, even though in our wrong reading of the environment, we think we're the only planet. We are just a planet amongst a system of 14 planetary systems, this, that, and the other, in a universe, which is one of many universes. So again, wrong reading of the environment. But anyhow, this world, this life, it is our university. We are a student in this life, in the university, to learn what is our proper prospect of life. And in this university, we have wonderful teachers. Have you heard of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Govindaraj, and Srila Prabhupada? Have you heard of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Have you heard of Veda Vyas, of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the scripture? We've got the textbooks produced by the greatest teachers. We've got the example and the presentation of those books by the greatest teachers. So we've got the best professors. Now we are the students, and we have to learn how to adjust everything with Krishna at the center, Krishna consciousness. So this world, we're already and repeatedly told, we are not a member of this world. So we are to observe what's going on around, and sometimes we're involved in it, cannot not be involved with it. You know, if you get COVID during the pandemic, you can't be so aloof as to say we're not involved, we're affected by it. And by so many things we are affected. But we must take the positive side of every situation and understand it is for our correction. As Guru Maharaj points out, that every circumstance, it's not that nature makes any mistake. It's not that Krishna makes any mistake. So every circumstance is individually the best circumstance for me, for you, for you, for you. And we're all in unique circumstances. We're not carbon clones, as it were. We're all in a unique circumstance. So it is the very best for me, and I need to be a good student, not fight every thing that comes and say, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right, why it's not right, and try to change the outside world. Krishna is in charge of the outside world. It's the inside world that we have to change. So university is for learning, and learning for a purpose. So we are in that university where we are learning, and learning for a purpose, to put it into practice and to make our journey home successful. So reading the environment. So this verse that we have read from Srimad Bhagavatam, that Guru Maharaj read from Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse, Riteritang yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. Hare Krishna. And you can see, as in the example of when our close relative dies or is in some serious condition, the sensible persons, which basically the devotees are, then they kind of get redoubled energy to be a good devotee, to see, well, there is nothing in this world. This world is a place of suffering. I have to take shelter of the Lord. So similarly, when bigger, that's also what is bigger and what is smaller when somebody's leaving the world, whether they leave the world, with 1,000 other people at the same time, or they leave the world individually. We're leaving the world and we're on our own, as it were. So we need that proper shelter, proper consciousness, proper direction. Every time, place, and circumstance to take shelter of the Lord. And how to do that? Especially in Kali Yuga, through the Lord's holy name. This is the Lord's manifestation in this world, in Kali Yuga in particular, in his holy name. So learning to read the environment from the devotee standpoint, that Krishna is in charge, and a bad workman quarrels with his, oh dear, stools. Again, Guru Maharaj's humor coming through. And the first time I read that, I really thought it was a typo, because some, typographic error, if you want to know a typo, a mistake in somebody's typing. But then the very first time I read that, I was on the train from Calcutta to Navadvip. And I was reading this. I got a copy by Krishna's grace. I had one of the very first copies of the book. And I was reading it on the train from Calcutta to Navadvip. And I was reading, and I came across this part, and I started thinking, oh, it hasn't been proofread carefully. And then then you keep reading, then you say, oh no, it's not a typo, it's not a mistake. But so many of these things, it's easy to read and easy to say, and difficult to put into practice. So really, the putting into practice part is the most important thing. We do want to discuss, we do want to hear, we do want to remember, we do want to share, but we do want to do. This is the necessary part. We do have that analogy of the man in the desert, and he's walking along with his camel, and he's in the desert, and he's very thirsty, and he sees skeletons of other camels and people around as he's walking along. And then he meets someone in the middle of the desert with a camel coming from whatever direction, and they're looking healthy and well. And then that other person he sees, he says, oh, over here, just over the horizon, where I've come, that place just over there, there is an oasis with fresh water, fruits, all sorts of nourishment is just over the horizon there. It's true, I tell you, I just look, I'm well, my camel is well, why will I cheat you? I'm not here to cheat you, I'm coming to tell you. But then if that man in the desert, then if he doesn't have faith that, oh, he's telling the truth, he's just another one of this world who's going to cheat me, and he doesn't have any faith and doesn't, or even if he has faith and doesn't pick up the energy to make that journey, that change that direction, the course of his life, the course of where he was journeying, go to the oasis, make the journey, then it's only going to be knowledge. But if he goes there, then he will have the, say, in one sense, the fruit of the knowledge. He will get that benefit, and he will get his life. So little bit like that crude example, we need to have faith, and we need to make our energy, may not be physical energy like the man with the camel in the desert, but it is energy. And as my good senior devotee advisor used to say, he said, well, after we've been out all day doing book distribution, and he's in the temple doing like transcription and editing and things, and then he'd have a big meal in the evening. And he said, Mahananda, don't you know, it takes more calories, takes more energy to do brain work than it does to do physical work. You've only been out doing physical work. I've been doing brain work. And they said, okay. So it takes some amount of energy to use our consciousness and change our consciousness. And we all know it does. In the background, we know, yes, it's true. Hare Krishna. And by the way, Dayada Gauranga, that's a devotee Dayada Gauranga, he's since passed away. But he said it with affection and with substance. He was a good friend and more experienced advisor in this world. Hare Krishna. And Guru Maharaj put me with him. So we definitely give our appreciation. Hare Krishna. And in every circumstance, we have to adjust. And sometimes we get a big shake that really you have to, you're going to adjust now? Okay, I think I'll try. So we can learn by hearing, we can learn by seeing others experiencing, and then the third grade is learn by ourselves going through that experience. So we want to take the first step, that is to learn by hearing. Again, going on a journey, we're going on a mountain road, going somewhere with twists and turns, and then we meet some, oh, around that next corner, there are the dacoits, the thieves. They are plundering everybody, beating them up, stealing everything they have. Don't go, don't go. And then the stubborn person will think, oh, maybe they're not telling the truth, or oh, why I worry. And then he goes, and then as he goes around the corner, he sees, oh, look at that man in front of me, that man, the car, whatever it is. And they're all getting beaten up, and they're getting everything stolen, blood and broken bones everywhere. Oh my goodness, why will I go there? I need to go to some safety, change my route, go back, wait for some time perhaps. But then the third kind of getting knowledge, getting experience is the most foolish person has heard, has seen, but himself thinks, oh, it'll be okay, it won't happen to me, I'll just walk through them all. And guess what? He goes around, after going around the corner, he walks on, he gets beaten up, he gets all these things robbed, and then he thinks, oh my goodness, I better go back and change my route. So we need to use this world as our learning place and be sensible students. And then you can see too, at the basis of all of this is faith. If you don't have faith in those who really are coming to as our best well-wishers to guide us, then that is a very unfortunate position. And that's also Guru Maharaj saying, what a sad place to live where we cannot trust anybody. We have to have trust, and we have to have trust in so many people. The boat, except nobody takes a boat anymore. Okay, the aeroplane, you've got to have trust in the, a lot of people for an aeroplane, all the mechanics and everybody else, but also you've got to have trust in the pilot and in the navigator and the engineer, at least the pilot and the navigator, that they know where they are going. So we do have trust with a lot of things in this world. I walked under a bridge yesterday, or the day before yesterday, not a big bridge, but then I saw the bridge. Then I thought, well, we got to have trust in a lot of people for making these bridges. They doesn't look very strong, but all these vehicles and things are crossing over it. Actually, we do have faith in a lot of people unknowingly, but we need to put our faith in those who are building the bridges and building the journey for us, the path for us to go home to Krishna. Hare Krishna. And we have sympathy. We are not heartless. Not we. It means our masters are not heartless. Why did Veda Vyas give like a huge amount of energy to compile the Vedas? For us, for the next generations, that the knowledge will be lost if he hadn't done that. They have sympathy, they have empathy, whatever the words are, but they want to do good for those who will be otherwise without guidance. They will be misguided in the future because the verbal message will get lost because of Kali Yuga in particular. So Veda Vyas compiled the Veda for us. Why did Krishna Das Kaviraj, at the age of 90 plus, write Chaitanya Charitamrita? It was for giving the nectar of the Lord's activities and pastimes, of his life, of his teaching, to the next generations. Hare Krishna. So this is us. We need to be grateful, and we need to have faith in all of these personalities, faith in what they've given. It is sure, and if we take the path, we'll see why it is good to have faith, why we need to have faith. And to only trust our own opinion is what Guru Maharaj was describing in describing this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, our reading of the environment, it is not correct. We need to get the proper reading of the environment, and that is coming from those with proper vision. That is coming from the sadhus, and of the sadhus, that is coming from the Vaishnavas, because they are not denying the Lord. They're doing the opposite. They're putting him at the center and then taking that perspective. So reading the environment in a healthy way, we must all try to do, and keep completely aside our own mental ideas about the circumstances. So we identify with this or identify with that. No, we are not part of this world, so we will observe it. And we'll have faith in our masters and faith in our Paramahamsa masters who've come from the upper world to this world for us. This is our great super fortune at this time. Mahaprabhu Nityananda, their parshads, their eternal associates. That is Krishna, God, the Lord himself coming here. And a few years later, a few months later, it's a few months, 500 times 12 equals 6,000, right? For all of you mathematicians, well, 6,000 months is all that's passed since Mahaprabhu was with us. And look how quickly the months go by. We can almost count them off as fast as we chant our japa. The months go by. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we're not being hard-hearted about the situations. And one thing is that we know about the situation we heard from Ukraine, from Nirupama giving us a little news from there. But one thing about this is that it's also drawn, all the devotees all over the world are thinking about the devotees in Ukraine. So everyone's sending like their Vaishnava best thoughts for the safety of the devotees. And I have no doubt that the devotees there, who have bombs dropping left and right, or whatever it may be, mortar fire, we hear, gunshots, so many things, I'm sure they are taking very seriously to the shelter of the holy name of the Lord, chanting with sincerity. The devotee Maitreya Rishi, his mother lives in Donetsk, which was, I mean, now everyone's forgotten about that maybe, but you see, there also so many things happened. And Maitreya Rishi, he went to his mother, who's in the middle of like all the stuff that was going on and these things, and miraculously somehow their house was the only house which hadn't been like completely wrecked in that whole area. And but his mother wouldn't leave the house. She's an old lady, and she said, I lived all my life here. And I mean, she just wouldn't leave. So Maitreya Rishi, Prabhu, he couldn't leave his mother also. So he stayed with his mother, and I met him and stayed and looked after her. And I went out and did shopping. Like he went out to get whatever he could so that they can eat. And then he told me, we met together in Abkhazia. A little bit later on, he came to one of the festival, the programs in Abkhazia, not only the festival, but he was staying there for some time. And really, his story was very intense about, being there. He said, and never chanted with more sincerity my japa. And Maitreya Rishi, he's a very sober, older, good devotee. But I mean, really, you could feel it from him. This wasn't like an academic. I really took shelter of the holy name. You know, he said, I really took shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. So positive and progressive. We are not a member of this world. Of course, we can see any circumstance from different points of view, but we must try to see from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev's point of view, from Srimad Bhagavatam point of view, from Krishna conscious point of view. But we are in Maya. Guru Maharaj gently reminded us in our quote, we are in Maya. What we see is not the whole picture. It's our perspective of the picture. But from our perspective of the picture, let's do our best to see through that. Our perspective is that our masters have the best perspective. Let's see what they have to say, how they can guide us at every time. And you see, even it is told that the Satya Yuga, the time of goodness, where goodness prevails, in Satya Yuga, it is very difficult also to get Krishna consciousness. Some Narayan consciousness and the worship of Narayan, and this idea, which is very good, no doubt, but the Krishna conception, it is very difficult to get in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. In the heavenly planets like heaven, except it has heaven has its end. Martya Loka, the land where everyone, even Lord Brahma, who created everything in the universe, he has his end. Beginning, growth, maintenance, multiplication, dwindling, passing away. And so in the heavenly planets, it is very difficult to get Krishna consciousness. But in the earthly planets, where we get some idea of heavenly life, some idea of hellish life, and somewhere in the middle, hopefully, most of us somewhere in the middle are living, and we can, with a little bit of good sense, we can see that it's not worth making some endeavor to be wealthy like Bill Gates or somebody. And at the same time, you know, it is what is the other side. There's the danger of all sorts of calamities at every moment, the world of calamities. So we can see something of the good, the bad, make also a sensible decision and say, well, let us make only the sensible journey, that of our journey back to home comfort, back to Krishna. This is the purpose of our human life, of our intelligence, of our energy. And we take shelter of them. They know what is what. They know the correct reading of the environment. And let us follow in their footsteps. If we are behind a good leader, then we will go through so many dangers and come out the other side to our destination. So, reading the environment. And as so often happens, of course, now is the age of everybody knows what happens at every second and every minute, hour, anywhere in the world due to modern communication. But these things are going on all the time, have been going on all the time, somewhere in the world. And it is a continuation of this, the nature of the plane in which we live. Hare Krishna. So faith in our masters, in their guidance, in Krishna, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Nityananda Prabhu, in the Shastra, in the Vaishnavas, in the Guru, in Prasadam. lots of things. And fearlessness, abhay, opposite of fear, without fear. We, at every moment, we will continue. We are now alive, and whatever will be, Krishna knows what will be, but we will face anything but fearlessly. Fearless, yes, fearlessly. Which happens to be practically the very beginning result of chanting the holy name. To be fearless takes away all the fear of this material world. And this material world doesn't mean only when we're in a fearful position. No, the whole thing of this material world. The forest fire of material existence. The forest fire will surround us. We've got nowhere to go. And many living entities and some humans also find themselves in that situation. We still will be fearless. Okay, body must go. It is inevitable. Now, I make my journey onwards. Krishna, allow me to be your servitor. Please keep me in the association of your devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And be fearless and go on. Even Srila Saraswati Thakur said, if the whole world catches on fire, if it all burns to ashes, nothing is lost. We need to make right. He said, rather, it will take away so many distractions, things which are harmful for our spiritual journey. But much more difficult is to burn up all our ego and misconception, false identification, self-centeredness, all these things that are inside us. We have to burn this up. So, these are some reflections, but still with heart. The devotees all over the world, we know, they're chanting extra and chanting extra quality. I mean, with Krishna, dear Krishna, please look after. We know you will look after, but we care for our devotees. And we are not country conscious at all. We're only Goloka, Vrindavan, Navadip conscious. Let us be Navadip conscious and Krishna conscious. Okay, I've been chatting away. In the meantime, Varun is in Vrindavan. And who else is in India? Radha Sundari, she's in Mayapur maybe. And do we have any other devotees in India with us right now? No, from quite a lot of places. Varun Prabhu, with your clean spectacles, your clean vision of with your first time visiting Vrindavan, please share something from there and nourish us all with some Vrindavan consciousness.
Hi Maharaj, I came to Govardhan actually yesterday.
Okay, beautiful.
So yeah, it's very peaceful compared to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is it's a very charged, elevated place, but it's also it's urban, and where the mat is as you all know, in a very congested area. So Govardhan is a bit more. It's more in the country a bit, and it's more spread out. So it's been pretty nice. It's pretty peaceful here. It's Uma's here, and 2 Ukrainian devotees are also here at the moment. And so far, yeah, it's peaceful. There's morning programs and evening programs, and there's the monkeys here aren't as aggressive as in Vrindavan. They're a little bit more well behaved. And there's 2 cows here, a mother cow and a daughter. I think it's a daughter. I'll let me see. I can see if I can give a bit of a tour if it's okay.
Sure, please let us see the outside world as well as the inside the ashram world. I recognize the ceiling and I recognize the wall. I recognize the doors. I recognize the door frame.
Yeah, let me zoom this, or let me turn this around. So these
There
are
you
the
are.
guest quarters. I'll go outside. I think I'm safer here with my cell phone.
Your cell phone and your spectacles.
I'm sorry?
And your spectacles, your glasses.
Oh, yes. That's true. I should. So this
Nice
is the
and green.
this is
Some rain, it has rained maybe, or Umar or yourself, maybe watering the garden nicely.
yes, Uma spent a lot of time, she says, just caring for the land over the past few years. So there's a lot of greenery here. And this is the Ghiraraj Temple.
Jai Shiano Giriraj Ki Jai. Unique, beautiful temple for Giriraj. It's Gurudev's special vision of what is there.
And actually, I'll go this way so we can see Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi.
Jai, many thanks. And what's that beside you there? What's white on the ground that you just passed by? What's that? Wood?
Oh, this?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's just trash.
Oh, okay. Then we'll pass by that. It's India, but anyway, I won't say anything. Okay, silence.
It might be rice bags, actually, leftover rice bags.
I'm sure they have a service purpose, which is why they're there. Okay, okay, all right.
Okay, yeah. So,
Jai Shri Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi Ki Jai. And the morning sun, you see the sun rising just now behind the Pushpa Samadhi. Ah, beautiful. Oh, we would want to now sit, chant the morning program.
and here are the two young cast. Dandavat. It's Madhusudan Maharaj. Yes.
Dandavat, Dandavat, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda.
Here's the Maharaj.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, no?
Happy to be with you in
Yeah, I'm also-
Govardhan and the Vaishnavas. Prabhu, very nice. Dandavat. And the phone ringing.
And
Yes,
if I
Varun.
go around, it's a nice, I don't know their names yet, but it's the two cows here.
I think Ekadashi knows their names. We introduced Davali to them the other day, but I forget the name.
Yes, it's the young one. The young one is a bit shy. It's always around the mother. And then there's the Ghiraraj is here. I'll try to see if we can go inside.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Yeah,
Probably.
it's close. Let me try to
Just
open
put the
it.
phone up to the grill. Jai. I have to make it bigger on my screen. I really can't see. Speak of you. Oh, okay. Well, we are hankering.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they
trying to
put
get
plastic
this.
there too inside to keep it warm. Okay, it's winter in Govardhan. They put the plastic sheeting inside. Giant.
Yeah, it's a cold. I'm trying to. I could try to get inside if ask them to open it.
Prabhu, don't ask anybody anything. It is fine. What as it is, we see. And that's the entrance way. There's the gateway at the end that we see, and lots of cow food. So we have very hungry cows. Okay. So here they're keeping the cows in the front.
Yes,
And
they
if-
keep them at night here. They in the residence, they sleep here.
Yeah.
I haven't been inside here yet, but
This is Sri Daita Das Seva Kunj. It is the first building there in Govardhan, made by Gurudev. And this is where we would all stay, and still devotees stay here, of course.
and
And you know what's down here, because the first place everybody knows is where we take prasadam.
yes. So this is just the prasadam hall.
Jai. Muri, mustard oil, banana. Oh, chilies. Are those chilies?
Down here, they look like a form of carrot.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Yes.
Let's see. It's just the
Okay.
kitchen.
Jai.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's the parties in Govardhan go on pretty late. Last night there was a loud festival, I think, until 4 in the morning. And here's another mat in the distance, if you could see.
Yes, yes. There are temples in all directions there. Yes. And like Vrindavan, many of the temples in Govardhan don't have domes on the top, because there was so much devastation there and in the past. And so they tried to keep the temples a little hidden. But of course, many of the temples now do have domes, like ours and like so many others. Okay, Barun, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
All right, beautiful. And that also keeps us grounded and keeps us Govardhan and Krishna Leela centered, Mahaprabhu centered, and reminds us that our life is for going home, back to Krishna, back to home, back to Godhead.
Maharaj, please check the chat because Priyanana
Check the chat.
posted a wonderful excerpt from Srila Gurudev, from Srila Guru Maharaj.
Yes, and there are actually, we're spoiled for choice for wonderful excerpts. There are wonderful excerpts, and here is one, and this also came to mind with all of this going on. And please, we'll have somebody else read it, somebody's voice. Paramananda Prabhu, can we ask you please to read this excerpt of Srila Guru Maharaj from Sri Guru and His Grace?
Moment, Maharaj, let me find it. Here we go, Srila. Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, Sri Guru and His Grace, God consciousness versus society consciousness. Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, everyone may leave me, but I shall stand alone. With this attitude, we must march on, whatever the circumstances may be.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Excuse me.
There's
Go-
one
go
before
on.
that. This
Yes,
is a
the big-
continuation.
Oh, there's one. Oh.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's a
Oh,
continuation.
there it is. There it is. Okay. And God has no error. It's a statement. He commands the environment. It is not our responsibility. The responsibility of the environment does not rest upon us. Our responsibility is within ourselves alone. The environment is in the hands of the Lord. He has not done any wrong to me. If I am sincere, then I have to adjust myself with this environment and put my faith before Him. By our stand in any circumstance in the battle, our patriotism will be put to the test. We will be tested to see whether we are real soldiers or not. Anything may come, but we will have to face that. I must not forget my Lord, my Guru, my Gauranga, my Radha Govinda, under any circumstances. Under all unfavorable circumstances, I must stand with my head erect and say, yes, I am the servant of that clan, that sampradaya. Everyone may leave me, but I shall stand. Everyone may leave me, but I shall stand alone. With this attitude, we must march on, whatever the circumstances may be. Then the recognition may come in my favor that, yes, under such trying circumstances, he is still there. Our superiors will be pleased with us. We must analyze ourselves. How much are we selfish? To what percent are our unwanted bad habits, anarthas, still present within our heart? How much are the impurities of karma, gyan, mental desires, and other filthy things mixed with the real faith? That must come out, and that must be eliminated in different ways. If we want real good, no one can hinder us. With the spirit we must move, and then we will be able to understand what is what. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshakshadar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. It is something we should put on our head. Carry on, and not just simply carry on, but also try to put it in practice, like you just said. Somehow it was our theme since the very morning today.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as Maharaj said, that we belong to no country. So I just like these words, because on the one hand, it couldn't be almost hypocritical for me, like sitting in Thailand and posting all these beautiful words. But on the other hand, like any circumstances coming, and it takes patriotism to a new level, like whom you should be faithful to, like we're like the president, so to say, to whom you should surrender, who should approve you or be satisfied with you. It moves this patriotism to that spiritual level, so that you never forget, like Guru, Gauranga. That's the main point, not of this world, indeed.
Jai, yes, indeed. And there's a beautiful quote, and other quotes, well, now it's too late, but there are other quotes. In every time and every circumstance, we are to take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. And so, I mean, these things, they come up again and again from the lotus lips of Guru Maharaj, the lotus lips of Srila Gurudev, and presenting to us what is the message of the residents of the upper quarter, that we make sure that we make this life successful, to go in the proper direction and not to get distracted, however convincing it may be, for any charm of this mundane world or any local interest of this mundane world. It has to be the central interest. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, and we have a very special guest on the screen.
And which, they're all special, but maybe you're mentioning Rai Kishori Devi Dasi.
Yes, she's on the spotlight.
Oh, you spotlighted her too, yes. Rai Kishori Devi Dasi, I see you're being very busy because you work from home, I know. But please, a few words from you, something from the Lindbergh perspective. Their surname is Lindbergh. But their whole family are devotees. And Sudarshan Prabhu, her husband, comes up with like really nice, like clean perspective view of different circumstances in the world. And they're team, a preaching team. Rai Kishore Devidas and her husband Sudarshan Prabhu. Rai Prabhu. Rai Devi.
And Dandavats to all the devotees. It's been so, it's like the good fortune of my life to be able to hear these words. And actually that section of Sri Guru and His Grace, I think Sudarshan may have read that particular passage like hundreds of times. So the only thing that I could maybe say is how many times we're trying to offer ourselves to these scriptures that they may reveal something to us. They're so profound, right? They're so compact in what is revealed inside of them. Just those few paragraphs, we could probably spend the rest of our lives reading that every day, and something fresh is going to arrive. They're so valuable on the journey, right? And so I think as these moments that are continuing to arrive by the grace of the Lord, right, we're hearing, you know, that the Lord is benefic, that the very firmament of reality is affectionate to you. And yet we see all of these things, but at some point in time, they should become more and more real, right? That world is becoming real, and the world that we're seeing with these faulty senses is maybe a little less real. And, you know, that's kind of the beginning of the offering of the path, is saying like, hey, there is actually a benefic, affectionate creator behind everything. And, you know, should you care to dismantle this kind of nasty ego world that I'm living in, I might see this affectionate reality that is truly existing. So it's ultimately, you know, the supremely hopeful message. And really all faiths of the world are agreeing on this point, right? That God is good, and God is affectionate, and God is loving, right? All of them are agreeing. So there's a world in reality that we're being called to attempt to offer ourselves to and participate in that is truly affectionate. It's just we're all kind of corrupted on what that means. So we have to keep on offering ourselves to these scriptures, you know, that one day we can try to be a servant, right? Try to be a Sharanagata, all of these things in consciousness. So I was so happy to hear that Sri Guru's grace. I was so amazed that somehow or other we got to see Govardhan, or Govardhan got to see us. It's all very complicated. And to hear your words, Maharaj, and it's truly our good fortune. So that's all I wanted to say.
You said a lot. You said everything, right, Kishori Didi? And really, it has to be the theme of our lives, whether there is an emergency or not. And this is the point that we need to, like, as we say, get shaken up and make our focus every day in the sweet path of Krishna consciousness. And just like a sweet, you know, it's a sweet path to make some journey in the Himalayas. I mean, we mention the Himalayas because there are so many challenges on the way, but all those challenges are taken, you know, as challenges, and that every challenge is definitely, you know, going to be crossed, and then you look back on the challenge and then come through, and then we continue our journey. And this is not a journey of just one lifetime. So we need to be faithful all the time. We will do the right thing, go in the right direction with, what's Guru Maharaj's expression, heart within and God overhead.
Yes. Yes. And it's and we don't give up, right? Because the nature of the mind is to judge the moment. And we know that it can only take in a very small amount of information. And what does the mind do? It distorts things. So we don't know who anyone is, and we don't know what any situation means, right? Which means that it's a much longer thing. And as it's meant to be revealed, then new things will come. But, you know, we hear it's not just to make us feel good, right? That these obstacles are purposeful, right? That we don't even, like, in the highest sense, we're not even longing for comfort, right? Like, you know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, like, I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to hell. I don't even want to be liberated from this material existence. These kinds of prayers I mean, they're so amazing. They're setting the standard for what a Vaishnav prayer is. And they're not just exaggeration. And, you know, it's so heartening to go, oh, not only is the very firmament of reality affectionate, but that means everything that's coming to me is quite purposeful if I can only adjust myself. And there's deep purpose. In fact, to the extent Ghiraraj says, there will be purpose in the direction whether the grass is blowing to the left or blowing to the right, right? Like such a profound vision of reality is possible. And that's exciting, right? So like our job, we can't give up, right? The story is that courageousness, right? We can't live in fear-based consciousness. We don't know what the lesson is that's coming to us, but we're praying that we can always stay connected, however that's possible, with whatever the wave of reality that's coming towards us, that's coming ultimately for our good. You know, that is the anthem.
And today we were remembering the verse that was actually kind of reminded us by Sudarshan about Sudarshan Prabhu, and then Madhusudan Maharaj asked us all to learn it, to memorize it. And with reciting in this morning, Maharaj, Sakri Deva Prapanaya Tavasmiti Uchitya Bhayam Sarvadata Smaidadamitat Pratam Mama. For all times to come, if you are sincerely and faithfully and sincerely surrender yourself at my lotus feet, I will remove the fear from your path and give you the courage for all times to come to continue. And like I pointed out, Krishna, when he is asking Arjuna to declare, Name Bhakta Pranashiti, my pregnant will never be lost, my devotee will never be lost. He's using Arjuna to say that because Krishna, you know, sometimes can be questionable, some statements we hear from Guru Maharaj, but here is Ramachandra. So that is a big statement. So Ramachandra, the Dharma personified, when he's saying something is absolutely solid. So here's our good fortune, not to give up, keep going. Find a proper perspective, all those things. And for that, we just need to take shelter of the Vaishnavas of past, present, and future too. And that is our only hope, nothing else.
Jai. And on Facebook also, devotees are with us, and Jagamohini Devirasi sending her pranam to all of you sweet devotees. And Chintamani Devi Dasi, Tungarasa Devi Dasi in Norway is with us with her obeisances, heartfelt obeisances. And I believe it's Mathura Basini Devi Dasi, I think is with us there in South Africa. It's one of the family, I know, and sending her obeisances to everybody, bringing back so much memories, she's saying. And Kelly Kadambanana Devidasi, Kelly Kadambar in Australia, saying, this is after Rai and Paramananda, while they're speaking, she's saying, super wonderful. So I say, hear, hear, super wonderful indeed. And Sevarupa Devidasi in Mexico also with us, sending her obeisances, and to all of the devotees. So we appreciate very much. And just now, Kelly Kadambaran is sending more hearts out to you all over the Facebook medium, the live broadcasters happening on Facebook too. Dear devotees, we are together for a little while, but we are together all the while by heart and in remembrance. And we are together in this world, whether you live like at home, a long way from anybody else, or whether you live in a temple. But around the world is only a speck, and on that world we do have our whole devotee family to give support to each other as we can in whatever way, but especially support in the spiritual sense to make our foundation safe, make our journey safe. And one thing when Rai Kishori was speaking just now also, like the positive side of it, that on a journey, people go on holiday, they go to somewhere which they think, oh, it's exciting, it's going to be fulfilling, it's a wonderful place. If you live in Canada or somewhere, when you see pictures of the Bahamas, then it's like, oh, I'm going to another planet. No, it is that kind of mood or feeling, especially in young people. They think that the other man's grass is always greener, etc., in the material world, and hence the tourist industry. But this is not tourism. This is going home, going back to the wonderful land of Krishna, the wonderful land of Mahaprabhu, where our service is in that plane. We are on our way home. So it is a wonderful journey. Yes, a hand from the center of the sub-center, but one of the centers of our thoughts from around the world at the moment of the devotees in Govinda land. Dandavat, what would you like to say? Priyananda Devidasi can translate for us.
But I think Arjun Prabhu knows English well. So.
A little Dandavats to all devotees, Dandavats Maharaj.
Yes, Arjun Prabhu, my Dandavat, and very happy seeing you sitting there throughout the program. And I'm wondering, where are all the other devotees who are there in the temple?
Maharaj, early time, all tired. But Maharaj, we are so happy to hear your sweet voice, to hear vibration from your heart. We are happy. We are full of nectar right now. Thank you. We just have to say Dandavats, to make Dandavats to you and to all devotees who are right with us right now.
And please, you share with them. Let them know that all the devotees are thinking of them. And in one sense, it's a refugee camp, in the physical sense for the devotees. But really, it is the refugee camp in the spiritual sense for the devotees. So let Kirtan and Krishna Kathar and all Krishna-centered things take place. Now you will have lots of devotees there. Then all those savor duties that needed to be done. You've got lots of arms and legs and strong men, strong ladies also, who can help to do the things which you were always thinking, oh, well, there's only 3 of us here, there's only 4 of us here. Now Krishna is sending a whole team of servitors. So
yes,
do your best, and please relay our best wishes from everybody, all of the devotees here.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, we are feeling that our life is starting right now. We are happy. We are feeling mercy of Gurudev, of all devotees. We are trying to take shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Jai, and you have a wonderful facility there to do it. Krishna has arranged this facility. Avadut Maharaj with foresight has arranged the facility, and it is a wonderful place.
Yes, Maharaj. Dandavats to you, to all devotees.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
I think Maharaj, just the spring is coming, so Krishna heard the prayers, so he brought many men to help with the garden and so on.
Jai, and the spring is coming, it's right. A good time for gardening. And this here, they've just been planting many vegetables. They said that this full moon that just happened, they have the farmers, the traditional farmers in Italy, have a way of planting seeds according to the moon. And this is the moon for planting a certain section of seeds. So, yes.
And Maharaj, I know it's very late, but Ekadashi Didi, maybe she has something to share with us.
Ekadashi and team.
Yes.
As a spokesman for the team, perhaps.
Look like Suvada is back from Mexico.
She, yesterday came back, I think.
Мы очень счастливы вернуться домой, на родину, и несмотря на все внешнюю ситуацию, какое-то беспокойство в мире, дома спокойно, тепло и уютно, и мы очень рады видеть всех преданных и продолжать вместе практиковать. Спасибо большое.
We're just very happy to be back home, Maharaj. And even though there's so many troubles in the world, just coming back home, we're feeling naturally, we're feeling home comfort. So I'm just very happy to be with all the devotees and wishing them luck in practicing Krishna consciousness, and my obeisances to everyone.
Jai, and welcome home, Subhadra Devi, and to Balavanta Prabhu too, when you see him. Oh, Balavanta Prabhu, we see him.
Иди, подвись сюда в камеру, чтобы нас слышно.
Welcome to Doma Comfort. Haribol, Haribol. All right, from my side, I do have to take your leave, but you can be together. I mean, that is also wonderful. But to all the devotees here on Zoom that we can see with each other, to each of you, you are all special. To all the devotees who are on Facebook, those who will be with us, practically you can say live, means who will be sharing, seeing the video, sharing the comments and things later on. So to everybody, we appreciate everybody and giving our obeisances to all the devotees and big jais to our best professors in this university of life. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Roko Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Vishwarenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And for all the Russian section, completely indebted to Srila Bhakti Bhima Avadut Maharaj ki Jai. The Bhakti, all to Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. And all the worldwide Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Evata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam, and appreciate the presence of you all, the contribution of you all by your presence, and the contribution of those who had an opportunity in our short time to say a few words too. My Dandavat to you all with our heart and of course, always best wishes. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Ami Ashchi.
Hare Krishna.